Welcome back to Masters of Data, everyone. I'm Adam White. I have with me Zoe Hawkins and David Gervin. Good to see
Hi.
you both again.
Yo,
Hello,
It's been too
hello.
long. I mean, the people watching won't know it's been too long, but it's been too long.
Right. We're in 2026 now, which is
hmm
crazy to say out loud. I don't write checks anymore, but if I did write a lot of checks, it would still be 2025 for
In my
a
journal, there's a
long
lot of
time.
fives to sixes, like because I
Yeah.
journal daily, and it's a
Right.
lot of like, nope, nope, that's not the year.
Yeah.
see, the problem with my journal is it's in crayon, so I can't erase those.
You just write over it.
Correct.
The five
Correct.
into a six is a smooth move. That
That's
one
true.
works. That
But
one works
usually my
okay.
fives are backwards. So
Oh, I mean, fair.
So speaking of time, this is a look forward, look back. So we're taking a look back at some of the trends and things that happened in 2025. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about was the like potential for bad actors in AI and how some of that played out. First of all, I mean, you could probably in 2025, the beginning of 2025, have said the same thing for 2024 that it was the year of AI, but like it definitely is the train that continues to move through our lives and make headlines and make our lives better and sometimes worse.
it still is the year of lying about AI.
Forever.
We're
Every
getting
year,
there.
forever, we'll be lying
Everybody's
about it.
getting there.
I do think though there is like I think that this show can take a little bit of like I used to joke like Nostradamus. Like we made a prediction, but we were right. Like we made some predictions about deepfakes and about AI falling into some bad hands and guess what? Like, I mean, it was
Yep.
pretty easy to predict. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this was not the biggest
The
gamble to
crayon was on the
make,
wall for
but
sure.
yes, for sure. But it is interesting to see like all of that stuff around. Like, no, all the AI companies promise that they have all these guardrails in place and everything's super safe and nothing's gonna happen. Whoops! Who
Oops.
would have guessed that AI could be used for some bad stuff?
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, like I was looking at some of the stats for AI attacks and that kind of stuff. Like we're definitely seeing stuff we've never seen before. But on the whole, like most hacks are still ha going the same way. I almost feel like it's more of a, and we are seeing more CVEs, but instead of just kind of what a lot of people were predicting, it's like there's going to be this new whole. I think we're still in that force multiplier stage, and we're starting to see like AI as an assistant for an attack. So we're not seeing these giant automated attacks yet, which I still think is going to happen. I feel like we're in this time where they have their tools that they're used to using and they're just kind of doing the same thing. They're adding AI on to try to like help with their attacks. From like the defender side, like I hope everybody's taking the time where they're not getting smashed by and thinking about like, okay, how do we automate our defense when this is a thinking botnet and we have like all this kind of stuff coming at us. But it
Fortifying
didn't
a bit more.
yeah, it didn't completely happen. Just like I've talked about, if you're not using AI as a full force multiplier right now, your job's going to be a little bit in jeopardy. Like you need to use it to make the mundane things go faster. I think we're
Yeah.
still in that stage even for the, black
But I
hats.
mean, but I see that like I don't know. I feel like we've talked about phishing on this show before. Like,
Yeah.
that was such an easy quote unquote win for bad actors. Like they went from writing emails that were like, oh, this is obviously a fake. Like
Terrible.
this
Yeah.
this grammar, this spelling, like none of this makes sense. This is clearly a lie. This is clearly an attack. To now, like phishing emails are really good. Like
Yeah.
scary good. And I blame AI for that. Like anyone can write an email that's like, make me sound like this guy and do whatever it is to make this as indistinguishable as possible. So like the fake names or whatever are better than ever. I don't know. I think that was like an easy uptick that we saw last year that I wouldn't be surprised we see even more of in the coming
Yeah.
year.
Not only like make me sound on paper, to your point, Zoe, but like we were looking at some examples of people getting actual jobs in the real world using deep fakes and projecting themselves as, a different person than they are in real life and passing those things off. I mean, it's a conversation that I have to have, with my parents and people around me, little different generation who
Mm-hmm.
like you can't really believe anything that you see anymore. Like you have to, the lens of scrutiny that you have to apply to the world right now, just in general, is it's like harsh. It feels like how much you have to scrutinize what you see.
Yeah, I've actually been working on a little bit of that stuff, and this is kind of also, I don't know, call to action. If you're a cybersecurity person, like shit's getting weird. And if you're not trying to help your community in some way, like, dude, you should think about it because I've done some stuff that we're setting up for some old folks at the church and other things like retirement home people. And I mean, I'm in Florida, so everybody's 107 here. But like, I mean, these are like everybody's grandmas and grandpas, right? Like, we don't want them to get their inheritance sucked out or their social security stolen. It's like, I think people really need to start thinking about, okay, how are we taking care of, our grandparents and our parents and how are we like building little informational things for that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
not just the
Yeah.
IT professionals who are getting scammed as well. Yeah.
yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
almost clicked on multiple things this year. Like there was a couple of different things that almost got me, and I was like, dang, that was close. Like,
That was good. Yeah.
and
It
I don't trust
is.
anybody.
But I think that's just it. And then there's also, I mean, there's the flip side of it. Like I was doing like a doctor's appointment scheduler something, and it was clearly AI. Like I had no doubt that I was talking to a robot, but like, oh my gosh, it was convenient. Like it was
Yeah.
really convenient to just be like, I need this, I need this. Like didn't worry about like accents or like, can I understand this person? Whatever. Like it was very clear they could understand me mostly. I could understand them mostly. And I was like very comfortable. Like it was transparently an AI. Like it said, I am your AI scheduler. Let's get this
Yeah.
going. And so I think there's kind of that it's uncanny valley-ness of like, I know it's AI, but also sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing. And like it's so close to real that yeah, I think like does my kid know that she's doing an AI chatbot? Does my mom know if she's doing an AI chatbot? Like, it's are we that weird sandwich generation that like are the last people to know
Yes.
that this
Yeah,
is what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's something that really accelerated last year, I would say, is,
definitely.
and also like going back to email and phishing and stuff, like I think we might kill email this year with the amount of like AI SDRs and like AI sales that can do outreach, AI bots that get my email, and then the phishing attacks and the like bad actors. I'm like, maybe I actually was right all this time never checking my email. Like maybe I should hold it with pride, my 6,000 unread emails.
I will definitely buy you champagne in 2027 if you're right about the demise of email, because that would be amazing.
Wouldn't
That's
it?
all, that's all our job is, right, Adam? We just answer emails.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't read
I think
them.
coming along those things, there's going to be like there's got to be this change. If someone hadn't already done it, think, do it. But there's got to be this like trust connection. Someone needs to like figure out the product and like a brand you trust, and you're like, oh, I see the little lock thing or whatever on my computer, and so I know I'm talking to an AI, but it's a trusted AI, so we're good. It's like the same thing with email. It's like it's getting so ridiculous. I mean, I hate like AI SDR things because a lot of them are really bad. Some of them are okay. But like I can tell by the grammar it uses, I'm like, dude, you were so lazy you didn't even write me. Like that's I'm like, you're
You couldn't
already
even
ignoring me.
cold outreach me but yourself. Like,
Yeah.
come
You
on.
didn't but you didn't call me during dinner and piss me off because you didn't check my that I'm East Coast because that happens at least twice a week. It's the only time I yell at like cold calls. I'm usually like, no, I'm not interested. But they hit me during dinner. I'm like, you don't look at my time.
But I think, okay, so if are we saying then that like 2025, I know at the beginning of the year we were still saying Gen AI and we quickly were like, nope, that was 2024. 2024
So
was the year of
quickly,
Gen
though. Like
AI.
it happens so fast.
So fast. It was like Gen AI is so 2024, 2025 is agentic. And like everybody was talking about their AI agents, whether they were real or not.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Like, what do we think? Is 2026 like more agents? My agents talking to your agents? What do we think?
More agents and agents talking to agents. I think the thing, the acronym that everybody started hearing probably like more end of Q1 of 2025, it feels like, is MCP.
Yep.
Like
Mm.
that was just the new hotness and everyone was talking about that. And I guess it makes sense with the kind of like agentic push, then you know have to have something that allows communication and cross platform, cross product you know, working together. But yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, 2026 I think is going to be very MCP heavy.
So 2026 is have your agent call my agent
Yeah,
vibes.
exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Like,
Hollywood vibes in that regard.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
God, this is my worst nightmare.
You
The
just need a
people I can't
headshot.
stand the most are running my life now.
I
Yeah, I,
do. Yeah,
I,
go
I agree
ahead.
with that. I think MCP is going to be the it's already becoming the hot thing, right? It's like what our customers that they were so excited to see and what everybody's excited to talk about. And the interesting thing though, from like a industry standard is like at least in our space, like, federated search and like all these buzzwords and these companies trying to fill that gap and they just all got squished. Like MCP
Yeah.
just made all of that kind of irrelevant. And the interesting thing is, I think all us kind of legacy companies are going to have to really think about how all these different parts are going to act in the future. And it's still going to be the same battle, though. It's going to be, are you just going to buy into a platform because it's convenient and they're probably going to up your price, or and treat you like shit? Or are you going to go the holistic route and have to like work, different tools to different things and have a single pane of glass and that kind of stuff? But MCP fixes a lot of that, right?
Mm.
It
And I think
does.
for both sides, it's going to make the platforms realize how easy it is to get off of them. So they're going to have to maybe not treat you like crap as much. This is just coming from personal experience of being a practitioner. And it's also going to like make it on the other end, if you're trying to like do a holistic thing, it's going to make it a lot easier. But it's also going to make it a lot easier to switch. So if you had like a data lake or whatever, and it, before that's a lot of work to get anything implemented. Now, if your agents are just calling those MCP agents and all you needed was a key, like that takes 5 minutes to switch off, right? So it's like, I hope people start thinking about this. Like if you don't take care of your customers, they're just going to with
Well,
MCP.
and you could have a migration agent like, hey, welcome to this company. Like, this agent will find all of your old MCP
Yeah.
stuff, all of your old agents that you were using, bring them in. I do wonder, and we've talked about this a little bit, like, who takes credit for that? Like, if I do work, if I hand stuff off to an agent, and David, like you've talked about this from an engineering thing, like if you code with Claude Code. Is that your code? Is that Claude's code? Like, is that Cursor's code? Whoever, like whatever the tool is that you're using. Like, are you able to hand that into your boss and be like, I built
Yeah.
it? Like, I don't
Luckily, my boss here never wants to see code ever from me.
know.
But no, like side projects, I'm real open about. I don't code anymore. I mean, I do, whatever. But like, you're not gonna see me like editing a Python function, being like, wow, I don't think this is efficient enough. Like, I don't do it. I'm an architect now. I drive AI, and that's just how
More
I
like
code.
QA based code review, would you say, right? I mean,
Well,
it's
kind of, but now I've built personas to do that for me in my IDE. So
yeah.
now I've designed from an app set guy, I've designed what I want to see my CI/CD look like. And I have my agents do everything for me. And they make mistakes. Like that's part of the game, but so does your intern. And like, but I don't like if I say like I built this, I'm saying it to people that know I'm using agents to code.
Mm.
But there is like, does your boss know you're using agents to code? I hope so, because I have webinars about shadow IT and how you're a bad person. Um, but it's like it's kind of like, are you nervous that it discredits you, or are you just like, this is how I work now? And I think like there's going to be a shift. I think a lot of senior engineers are going to have a hard time admitting like, oh yeah, the agent refactored this because, you know, as opposed to because, you get to that principal staff level and you want to be the smart guy in the room. Not
Hmm.
everybody. I'm not like, I
Yeah.
don't want to speak for everybody, but that's what in your head, that's why you're there. when that's not really why you're there, from someone who's hired and fired and done that. Like you're there because you're killer at what you do and you know how to organize projects and people together and that kind of stuff.
It
So
definitely. Oh, sorry, David. Go
no,
ahead.
no, yeah. So it's just like there's gonna be like people who are gonna hide it because they think it discredits them, and there's gonna be people who are open. And on the same side, there's gonna be people who judge you for it, and there's gonna be people who don't. So
It definitely is interesting from like a people manager perspective, maybe most specifically maybe on the engineering side. It's like how does an engineering leader know what is the output of the brain of the person that they've hired versus to what degree that was augmented by AI and like when push comes to shove and something goes wrong, like that's when you need the person more than ever to be like, oh yeah, I see what it was and know how to fix it, to actually like go in and do some of that investigative troubleshooting in code, which again, AI can do, but if it got it wrong in the first place, how much do you trust it for that particular area?
you need those experts. So like
Yeah,
one of my buddies who's like my partner that we build stuff together, he's a really good engineer. And we balance each other out. I've always been a good manager, architect, AppSec guy, and he's a really good engineer. When things hit a problem in the code, he has the ability on a deeper level than I ever will to go in there and really break things down and look like, "Hey, I don't think this is right." Because AI still definitely has its flaws. It's not building perfect code by any means. And if you're in microservices, it even has bigger problems. But yeah, it's exactly that. You still need the subject matter experts, but I think they need to start thinking differently.
yeah,
To me, if I was building a company right now, my principal and staff engineers would be people who can plan projects, architect them well, and design how the AI doing spec-driven development, that kind of stuff, can design how the AI should be looking at those and can also go in and debug when things get really sketchy. And then
yeah,
like, your lower levels need to be able to operate agents well with coding, but they also need to be learning how to fix things and understanding the code. Like I have it tell me how to understand the code because a lot of people just build stuff and they just push it. I have it like I have all these documents in my code base, but I'll turn on voice mode and have it reread it to me and I'll sit back and think and try to understand it better.
yeah,
I think that's a big piece of it though. Like I think about this a lot from a people management perspective in my world as well, like from a content angle,
definitely.
whether it's like agencies or internal folks or whatever, like, if someone says like, well, ChatGPT said I should write this or ChatGPT and I wrote this, I have no problem being like, ugh, like AI crap here, here, and here, but the rest of it is fine. Or like, oh, let's work on your prompts, like whatever. Like I'm much more comfortable calling the AI's output crappy than I would ever say to a human being, right? Like, and I think there's that people management element of like, if you're managing an agency or an individual contributor or whatever, who now is themselves managing agents, like that's a very different dynamic than just being like, hey, you did bad work last Wednesday. Let's coach you through your thinking and how you can fix it and help you become a better writer or like whatever that is. It's very different when you're like, oh, like you did a great job using Claude, like great job, pat on the back kind of vibe, or you did a terrible job using Claude. Let's fix how you're engaging with your agent and like what that looks like. And maybe your prompt is broken. Maybe you need to tweak your model. Like whatever that is fine. But I think like it's a very different people management concept, and then it's a very different like future of work concept, I think, going into this coming year of like, who on your team is kind of an AI pilot versus an AI passenger?
Yeah. It's starting to have some, I mean, you're seeing more and more like real world impact of people not managing, not piloting potentially their
Mm-hmm.
AI properly. Like there was a local example of an attorney who left some AI slop and, things that got in front of a judge and the judge and, opposing legal team noticed and now they've been sanctioned and consulting companies leaving fake, AI citations and documents. Like you're seeing it more and more where it's like, okay, I love the pilot passenger thing, but the pilots have to be hyper aware and really proof and read. And it's like, am I actually piloting this or am I just assuming that it's good because AI had a hand in it, which you definitely can't and shouldn't do.
And that I think is the definition between like that passenger and that pilot vibe. Like a passenger has no problem doing one prompt, maybe two, and being like, looks good, like keep
Ship
it
it.
rolling, whatever,
Yeah.
ship it. I'm along for the ride. This is where Claude took me. This is where ChatGPT took me. Like I'm in. Versus a pilot who is obviously much more driving the machine, being like, okay, this and this and this and this is my thinking. I want you to create this and this and this. The AI builds it. You engage with the output and say, like, whoa, okay, this part is right, this part is wrong. Let's emphasize this, let's not this, whether that's code or content or any of that. Like, you have to be cognizant of like what you're telling it to do and then double checking it versus a passenger who's just like, I'm along for the ride, looks fine.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is you have people who are overworked or, lazy. I don't know. Deloitte, Deloitte was the one of those consultants who published a report twice that got caught for the same sort of things. Like you would think the first time you get caught using AI citations, you would get in trouble. And like this lawyer you talked about isn't the first lawyer to do this. Like there have been a
Nor will
lot
they be the
of,
last. Yeah.
yeah, nor will he be the last. And so it's almost like however many cautionary tales isn't enough for people to realize like people
Yeah.
will notice when your AI output is wrong and who's accountable for that? Who's responsible for that in the end? Like you can't point the finger and be like, well, the AI said it was okay. Like
Yeah.
ultimately you're the human being standing in front of the judge or you're the consultancy that shipped a report to a government saying these are the recommendations. Like you
Yeah.
have to stand behind the final output of your work.
And to your point on that, Zoe, or I think it was part of your point. Well, those are, I don't think either of those examples are malicious examples. They're just examples of people not being diligent with the tools that they are using to do their jobs. Like maybe there's a lot of pressure on them, they're understaffed or they're overworked or whatever, and it's a way of pumping out more content to meet the expectations of their boss or their company or whatever. But like you're still it still matters what you put out there. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Or just throwing this out there, a lot of lawyers, a lot of consultants are just full of shit. And you can
Oh,
do it
here
all
we
talking to
go. Look at
ChatGPT.
that. We're back
I'm
to
telling
it.
you, man, they're the ones I'm coming for. Their
Okay.
jobs on the there are subject matter experts that are consultants that are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them don't work for the big three. They hire people out of college that don't know crap. And you have to deal with that, and you have to figure out who's really talented at what they're telling you and who's writing a shitty ChatGPT prompt. And it
maybe that's
drives
just a
me.
good example of that pilot passenger thing that people need to figure out better, from an output perspective. Like that
Yeah.
that's what that says to me is like, yeah, if you have a passenger, like you need pilots, and be it
Yeah.
code or consulting documents or legal documents that are like really, it's almost like the racy of content creation or code creation or whatever. It's like who's actually accountable for what makes it into the world, and just doing a better job of those gates, between kind of the
We
steps.
should build that. We should build the RACI of AI responsibility. I
Can
feel
I
like we
just
should
say
do it.
though, I can't deal with more letters. Like I know what a RACI is, but like we were talking about it before, MCP, which we're gonna bring. It's coming back around. I'm telling you, uh,
Yeah.
because we need to talk more about MCP and what the future holds this year. But like a RACI for the MCP, my keyboard is screaming at me already.
Get on
Like
board, Zoe. It's
oh my
happening.
gosh, all
Like,
the letters, alphabet soup. Like let's
Hey,
go, let's go.
LFG, LFG.
that's right. But
LFG indeed.
speaking of MCP, though, one of the things, David, you and I have talked about this a lot, is like agents, MCP, I think we've gotten drunk on those a little bit in 2025, and they're great and they're amazing, but like what about security? How do we actually secure these things, know what agents are doing what, know what MCPs are connected to, if they are doing good things, if they're doing bad things, if an MCP is used by someone nefarious to just burn tokens, like a DDoS token burn almost concept. I mean, there are some crazy things out there that the world, quote unquote, doesn't have a handle on yet, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. We were just talking about, I want to run a blog about that. Just because it's an
I'm
interesting
gonna
attack
poke you about
vector.
that. Yeah, I want it.
Yeah,
I want
it's an
it.
interesting attack vector because one, no, I mean, I don't want to just blast everybody because I still think MCPs and agents are a good thing, but no one knows what they're doing. There's no identity. Like the RBAC is only dependent on like if you're already in the system. Like there's just so many things that are being not tracked and doesn't have any governance because they're autonomous and they make decisions. They don't just move to one section. They upgrade, they do things, you know. And obviously, I'm passionate about that because that's the project I've been working on. But it's an industry-wide thing that this is always the problem with technology is it moves fast. The people who build the things to get things done don't think of the security consequences with it. And MCP itself is very good on what it is. The protocol is a standardization of how we're doing this, and it's great. MCP is not designed to be secure. So, like, they're trying to do some stuff, but you can't change the protocol to be completely, it's just not how it works. It's not tracking, identifying, it's doesn't have any sort of governance. It can't lock things down. You know, that's just not what it is. It's not a
We
control
don't
plane.
have the we don't have the S yet in HTTPS.
Yeah, right. It's and it won't be though. Like it's gonna have to be a separate entity. Like I've
Yeah.
proposed that it's a control plane. I think that's the only way to go. But it can't be built into that. But because of it, because it's a protocol and it's from companies like Anthropic, who are, you know, beasts in the AI world, people are like, nah, it's good. You just run it. You got an MCP? I want to use your MCP. Like it's just like we've made decisions to go through ones that are third party for our public stuff that have attestations that have their own, you know, and then internally, like that's our own thing. We're not worried about what you're doing. And like there's a lot of this just jumping into it, and people really, really aren't figuring it out first.
Well, and I think about it like, I think about like the shared responsibility model kind of falls apart when you're like, okay, I'll control my stuff, you control your stuff. We're both going to take security seriously, and thus everything will be secure. But it's like, okay, my agent's secure, your agent's secure, but when they talk to each other, who knows what they're sharing
Right.
gets very like nebulous, I think, very quickly.
Well,
Yeah.
and anytime like an agent's just code that can make decisions, right? So I mean, I've personally seen from my own testing in like my own lab, like I've watched agents go to a database, get confused by the call because I'm throwing in prompt injection and hallucinate, go, no, this is a read-only database, and then all of a sudden the database is gone. Or even just in my IDE, the screaming thing that never stops, like, yeah, that makes me feel good that that is connected to 8 different MCPs from my IDE. That basically, like, I mean, even as a joke, we made it so we could order food. Like, what is going to happen when I get 400 pizzas delivered to my door because my agent got pissed at me?
Just screaming into the void. Yeah.
Exactly. When we move into autonomous, we have to really think about, and it's not always nefarious, like we've talked about. Like it's not
Yeah.
like the thing you talked about. Like I mean, that was one of my attack vectors. Is I if I was going to be a bad guy, I'd be corporate espionage and blasting token calls with hallucinations, and just burning up my
Let it
competition.
scream into the void at your competitors.
Yeah, here's your $200,000 over monthly AWS bill because one of your agents just sit there and burn tokens, right? Or ChatGPT bill or whatever. And it's like there's that, but then just handling agents screwing up because we know AI is not perfect. Like now you have
Yeah.
an agent screwing up, burning tokens, and maybe looking at sensitive information. Maybe like, do you have a way to block it from PII? Do you have a way to block it to read only in certain areas and have the ability to write in others? Like, no, because that's not what the protocol is made for. So,
Yeah.
I think, in the same way that we predicted 2025, year of the deepfake, year of AI getting really good at fooling people. I think this might be our prediction. I'm a little hesitant about prediction podcasts. I don't love them. But I do think this might be our prediction, friends. Like I think this might be our thing that we say, all these agents running amok, 2026 is the year where we either have to figure out how to secure them or face some really, really sketchy stories that are going to start coming out.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right. I think this is going to be the year of agents and MCPs doing stupid stuff, but I think we're not going to hear about it as much. Some of it will be
Mm.
breach stuff, like, and we'll probably hear about that, even though everybody still tries to cover it up because, integrity. But I think a lot of it's going to be like what I was talking about, like burning tokens, corporate spend, and you're never going to hear about, some big company getting an extra 200,000 tacked onto their monthly bill or whatever because some agent's just sitting in there throwing a
Except the
party,
public, I think
spraying
we are going to hear
champagne.
it, and I think this is a reason to watch those public companies when they have to do their
Yeah, earnings calls.
quarterly earnings calls. Like there was one a while back that it turned out they were spending however many million on some software, and it was like, whoops, I don't know what happened. Someone flipped a switch and we spent 38 million. I think it'll be a similar thing where it'll be like, hey, what's this line item? Like, I don't know. That was an
Yeah, don't worry about
MCP.
that.
We
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
build an agent to track all those.
There you go.
Ooh,
Agents
yeah.
tracking agent overspend.
It all comes
2026.
it comes back down to this like concept, and I know I say this all the time, like security is observability, but security and observability are business, and they really are.
Mm.
So if you're not building things securely, making sure that they work securely, and then making sure that you're tracking the spend, and like, you know what I mean? Because now we're in a place that decision making. I want
Hmm.
everybody to think of agents in MCPs popping bottles of Cristal and partying in your tokens, because that's what's happening. Whoa, I didn't
Oh,
even mean to do
yeah.
that. That was
That was
amazing.
amazing.
That's
That was
perfect.
perfect. Perfect. Perfect. The robots played along this time.
Couldn't
Thank
have
Yeah,
you.
planned that better.
that's
Well,
going
it'll
on my
be
LinkedIn.
fun to watch this in early 2027 and see how right we were.
Always awkward.
Yeah, no, but it's good. Fun conversation as always. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a fun year in 2025. I'm sure things will unfold just as quickly in 2026, and maybe we'll be right, maybe we'll be off a little bit, but it'll be fun to see no matter what.
Love
Well,
it.
thanks all
Awesome.
again.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.